Good morning, I'm Philip Palmer, and we have breaking news. The singer David appearing in court moments ago. Prosecutors say they found a significant amount of child pornography on his phone. David, whose real name is David Burke, is accused of killing Celeste Rivas Hernandez exactly a year ago today. He has already pleaded not guilty. His next court appearance is set for a week from tomorrow. Remember, when news breaks, you can find it on the ABC 7 Los Angeles app. Join us for Eyewitness News at 11.
Yeah. After all this time, David has at long last been arrested. Hey, you and welcome, guys. You know, and much like his classic hit, What Are You Waiting For? Nothing anymore is the answer to that. And he's now facing some pretty horrifying charges. Yeah, he's getting owned up pretty bad by the law. Major breaking news now. Detectives from the Los Angeles Police Department Robbery Homicide Division have arrested singer David Burke for the murder of Celeste Rivas. If the allegations are true, what he did to 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, absolutely horrific. And this is a truly disturbing case. In this little video, folks, we're going to raw dog, the charges that d4vd is facing, and they are pretty shocking and horrifying, to be honest, even to me. And not only that, the autopsy report has also been released, and the status hearing just occurred on April 23rd. And it all just makes a grim story more and more so. I mean, you probably could have guessed all that based on the initial video I made about David back in December. And now that it's all kind of catching up to him, it certainly lives up to it. So, let's give it a go. So if you'll remember, right back on September 8, 2025, the body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, 14 years of age, was found in the trunk of an impounded Tesla. Her body was dismembered, and it appeared to have been in that trunk for some time, that Tesla then later linked to rising your super meteoric musician David. Truly on the rise of rises, he had the Fortites, he had the Arcanes, he had the brand deals, he had the sold-out tour, he had the yada yada yada. The thing is, when the discovery of Celeste's body was made in his vehicle, sure, wasn't David just about to start his sold-out Withered tour, which I went through all this stuff when I covered the case back in December. But there was a lot of weird going on. A lot of weird. The whole, vibe of the Withered tour was that it was a grave. It was a funeral. There was blood everywhere. He had this alter ego who was a serial killer. One of his most famous songs, Romantic Homicide. It's weird, as it's been ongoing debate here and across the country. It really comes down to whether an artist's lyrics can be perceived as a confession to a crime, or is it simply artistic expression? Either way, though, in this case, talking to attorneys, it seems like a judge will ultimately have to decide whether or not a jury will weigh those lyrics as evidence. So many questions this week surrounding the case against singer David. One of the tough questions is, can David's lyrics be used as evidence for prosecutors in his own murder trial? LAPD chief discussing this topic on Good Wednesday. It'll be certainly introduced, I'm sure, and that's something that will get attention during the trial. The song and music video many pointed to is Romantic Homicide. Mighty weird. And then, digging deeper, David, 20 years of age when this all happened. Well, it seems like he had been in a relationship with that child. Him and Celeste, that appeared, had been in a relationship for a few years. She had ran away from home on multiple occasions to be with him. And then, tragically, she was found in the most disturbing way. On September 8, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, Miss Celeste remains. Her dismembered and decomposed remains were found in 2 bags inside of a front trunk of a car registered to Mr. Burke. Thereafter began an investigation. Now, when I covered this story back in December, months after her body was actually discovered, there was nothing really going right. A grand jury was formed to investigate. An executive from David's record label was called in to testify, and he basically gave them the finger. This is definitely a case where I think a lot of us probably wouldn't have a very positive opinion of Los Angeles Hollywood-type media executives. This case will not change that opinion. Some of David's family and associates were called to testify. I don't really know what the outcome of that was. Maybe there were some very incriminating witness statements and this has all been going on in the background. However, that all takes us to now April 2026. So what just happened? Well, on April 16, 2026, the LAPD posted this. Detectives from Los Angeles Police Department Robbery Homicide Division have arrested David Burke, a 21-year-old resident of Los Angeles, for the murder of Celeste Rivas. Burke is being held without bail. It's going to obscure my view from the gate. If you try to run or you try to resist, you will get nothing. It's going to hurt. I got you. If you try to run, we have K9 on premises.
In that arraignment a short time ago, Tony, were Celeste Rivas' parents. Now, David did not speak as attorneys entered that not guilty plea on his behalf, but they made it clear they want to expedite the proceedings so they can see what the DA has, and they say so they can exonerate their client, Tony.
You know, Matt, while we have you, any potential issues with this case?
I mean, I think one of the biggest issues, Tony, is that this is going to be a largely circumstantial case, but the DA says that they have 40 terabytes of evidence, digital evidence that they have gathered, and they'll have to send that to the defense team. Tony.
We'll keep following it. Matt, thank you very much.
Anthony Burke, the musician known as David, spelled d4vd, in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time. And there are 3 sets of charges that have been brought. The first-degree murder with special circumstances, and again, those special circumstances are lying in wait. That Celeste went to Mr. Burke's home on the night of April 23, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again. The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain. As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatening on that particular night. The third charge, in addition to lying in wait and for financial gain, is murdering a witness to an investigation. In this particular case, as the evidence will come out in court, the witness to the investigation was Celeste. And the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke that is the subject of count 2 of this complaint with Celeste while she was under 14 years old. The investigation was to determine who killed, who murdered Celeste months and months before. That investigation was carried out in unison and in partnership between the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division and the District Attorney's Office.
Hills, but about 24 hours ago, it became a police scene as the LAPD arrested the singer David outside this home. He's an internationally known singer who rose to fame with hits like Romantic Homicide. In the back of my mind. Now David is in jail on suspicion of murder. And I didn't even cry. LAPD arresting the singer, whose full name is David Burke, yesterday in the Hollywood Hills.
It felt like 100 police officers, a K9 unit. I heard someone on the megaphone saying, "Surrender, surrender, come out."
The arrest comes 7 months after 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found dead in the trunk of his Tesla in a Hollywood tow yard. I spoke about the arrest with legal analyst Royal Oakes. What's your reaction?
It's a huge question about why it took authorities 7 months to arrest this man. The DNA evidence probably was gone because there was so much deterioration of the body. Plus, the authorities wanted to talk to lots of witnesses. That probably explains the gap. The fact that they have made the arrest now suggests the authorities think they have a very strong case.
Around the time of the singer's arrest, NBC4 shot exclusive video of David's attorney, Blair Burke, leaving her office. Then today, NBC4 Investigates obtained surveillance video that appears to show the defense attorney near the police scene minutes later. This afternoon, Blair Burke returned to the home where police arrested the singer and made no comments as she left.
The DA?
But Blair and the rest of David's legal team released a statement saying, quote, "Let us be clear, the actual evidence in this case will show that David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and he was not the cause of her death. There has been no indictment returned by any grand jury in this case and no criminal complaint filed. David has only been detained under suspicion. We will vigorously defend David's innocence.
We assumed he'd fled far away.
After the singer's arrest, neighbors in the Hollywood Hills were surprised to learn David was living nearby.
We never saw anyone like him. We never saw anyone going in or out of his house. We actually assumed no one was living there.
All of our neighbors were kind of on a group chat, and we were like, this was kind of scary that we've been living around the corner from an accused murderer.
One neighbor actually told me that he's relieved that there was an arrest because he said that there have often been parties at this home. I asked if he's heard parties here recently. He said it's an ongoing problem. Either way, on Monday, we're expected to get our first look at David as he's expected in court.
Plea of not guilty has been entered on behalf of Mr. Burke.
Late this afternoon, the platinum-selling singer known as David in court for the first time, hours after this stunning announcement from LA's district attorney.
Today, I am announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time.
The charges, the harshest possible, which could bring the death penalty.
First-degree murder with special circumstances. The special circumstances being lying in wait.
Celeste Rivas was a runaway, just 13 when she left home, and prosecutors allege met with David and was in a sexual relationship with him. They say Rivas went to his home on April 23rd last year and disappeared. Burke, now 21, is charged with personally using a deadly and dangerous weapon, a sharp instrument, to commit murder. You mentioned lying in wait. Do you believe that David was trying to lure Celeste?
He invited her ultimately with the idea that he was going to murder her.
You're saying it was premeditated, that he knew he was going to murder her on that day, and that you have evidence to prove that?
Yes.
Rivas's dismembered and decomposed body was discovered more than 4 months later in the trunk of a Tesla registered to the singer at a Hollywood impound yard. David was arrested late Thursday outside his Hollywood Hills home, and he's been held without bond since.
Your Honor, we believe the actual evidence will show David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, nor was he the cause of her death.